And that's just what these hustlers look for. They cruise from casino to casino looking for weak dealers the way lions look for weak antelope.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 most clever casino scams of all time.
If you're a doctor or you're an attorney, you apply your trade. If you're a cheat or a con man, you apply your trade, and that's what they're doing.
For this list, we'll be looking at some of the most ingenious schemes that have been used to swindle casinos around the world. Which impresses you the most? Let us know in the comments. Number 20, hacking security cameras. Out of the thousands of people who visit Melbourne's Crown Casino each day, it only takes a couple to fleece $33 million. In this crafty 2013 scheme, an accomplice from overseas strolled into Australia's biggest casino and into a private, high-stakes poker game. Little did his opposition know that he was being fed information thanks to a hacker who had infiltrated the CCTV cameras. Over 8 hands, this high roller raked in huge numbers, raising some eyebrows. The staff suspected foul play and promptly ejected the man from the casino.
It's believed he's since returned overseas to his home country.
The VIP handler that the establishment assigned to him was also fired, but the casino couldn't recover the money.
Interesting though, contacting Victoria Police about this, they haven't been notified of any crime. In fact, they say that they've been rung by Crown and told what has allegedly gone on, but no form of complaint has been made. Perhaps Crown was hopeful of keeping it all in-house. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened.
Number 19, slot machine glitch exploit. Winning on casino machines is the luck of the draw. Sure, the hot hand fallacy may make you think that you're going to keep getting the winning combinations, but it's unlikely you'll ever get the same hand twice. Unless you're John Kane. This 50-year-old pianist was addicted to the Game King line of gambling machines, so much so that he even got one to play at home. In 2009, he came across a software bug that allowed him to keep playing the same winning hand repeatedly. Taking this knowledge to several different casinos, he won more than $500,000. The casinos got wise and the US government sued him, but charges were eventually dropped. Number 18, chip stealing.
Even close up, one moment nothing, the next, a winning bet for the hustler to collect on.
Usually when you think of a scam, it's all about outwitting your victim. In this case, it was a simple matter of distraction. In 2012, casinos in Ohio were beset by a New York crime ring determined to defraud the roulette table. A select few would approach the table, getting in on the game at a low bet. One player would distract the dealer, while the other would pocket chips and pass them to another gang member. This new player would then hit a new table, purchase chips at higher amounts, and cash them all out together.
Scammers buy a certain color of chips that allows the bettor to set the value. Then the chips are secretly passed off to someone else who returns to a table and assigns a higher value to that color of chips.
The gang was making as much as $2,000 per scam until the authorities caught on. Number 17, marked card packs. Casinos are always vigilant when it comes to their players and employees, but no one expected the cards to be at fault. In 1999, Caesars Casino in Johannesburg became suspicious when they were down by 11% over 3 weeks. Security observed blackjack players to no avail until they noticed the backs of the casino's playing cards. The backs of tens, jacks, queens, and kings were subtly different, giving players the advantage of knowing what was out there and betting accordingly. The casino discovered they had received a delivery of 4,000 marked card packs and promptly removed them from circulation, but never found out who was behind the scam. Number 16, the Cutter Gang. No card game is safe from cheaters, even baccarat. This group's method was to accept the standard offer by the dealer to cut the deck after shuffling. The gang would then drag a particular card along the deck, separating the cards inside just enough so their sequence would be visible to a hidden camera in the scammer's cufflink. To avoid suspicion, that scammer would then excuse himself, giving the camera and information to another gang member who would play the winning cards every time. The crew was caught at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas, but was let go due to a lack of evidence. They were later arrested for cheating in the Philippines, but escaped, never to be heard from again. Number 15, dice rolling with Dominic the Dominator. When it comes to the secret behind this scam on our list, it's all in the wrist. Or at least that's what Dominic Lorigio, also known as Dominic the Dice Dominator, will tell you. You see, Dominic has made a killing and a living using a method he refers to as dice control.
You set the dice, you grip them gently, you throw them in the air with the same velocity and energy and rotation, get them to land softly at the end of the table before the back wall, and let them stop dead.
With it, Lorigio can turn a flick of the wrist into whatever winning combination he desires. Although some have countered Dominic's claims as the braggings of a seasoned con man, the fact that Lorigio is banned from numerous casinos speaks volumes as to the success rate of his chosen method, which he teaches to others for a price.
Number 14, the Tran Organization. The organizers of the California-based Tran Organization had themselves been card dealers, giving them unique behind-the-scenes insight. In the 2000s, they bribed dealers to perform false shuffles at baccarat tables, allowing them to track the order of cards. Soon, the group grew to include over 40 members.
Take a puff with one finger on it says to make a bet. Take a puff with two fingers on the cigarette. That means to double down.
The gang used microphones to share information and computer programs to predict what cards would be drawn, taking various North American casinos for over $7 million before they were caught. Of course, that's just the activity that authorities were able to uncover.
Number 13, mumble betting. Sometimes you just have to sound right to cheat casinos out of their money. The casino in question, the Bellagio. The culprits, craps dealer Mark William Bronco, fellow dealer James Cooper, and accomplices Jeffrey Martin and Anthony Granito. The group would sit at the table where Bronco or Cooper were dealing and place phantom hop bets. The player would mumble something that sounded like a bet, and then the dealer would pay out as if they had correctly wagered on whatever fell.
According to court documents, the winning bets were placed after the end result was already known.
They tried their luck 76 times over 2 years to the tune of over $1 million until they were caught and sentenced.
All four pleaded guilty to theft and cheating at gambling.
Number 12, sector targeting.
Where there's a will and new technology, there's a way. Case in point, this 2004 incident involving 2 Siberian men and a Hungarian woman, who took the Ritz Casino in London to the tune of £1.3 million. Their plan of attack? A method called sector targeting, which used a laser scanner on their smartphones to predict where the ball would land on the Ritz's roulette tables. The real kicker? Though they were arrested after the casino reviewed security footage, many charges were reportedly dropped, given that sector targeting wasn't yet technically covered by gambling laws. Clearly it pays to be on the cutting edge.
Number 11, card switching.
Casinos rely on black books of names and photos, such as the famous Griffin book, to identify advantage players and cheaters.
They got no sympathy for you.
2 names that reportedly appear in Nevada's Black Book are John Dixon and Robert Isle, who were both accused of card switching back in the 1980s. The men would allegedly sit close to each other and pass cards to each other beneath the table, and under their wagers. They would also employ accomplices, usually bribed cocktail waitresses, to assist them in their scheme as either lookouts or distractions.
Number 10, the ATM job, scammed in 60 seconds. Casino scams don't have to take place at the betting tables. In this case, all you needed was a checking account and an ATM at a casino. Ara Kashishian brought together a team of people to open checking accounts with Citibank and make initial deposits. They would then use a Citibank cash advance kiosk at the many casinos they hit to withdraw 10 times the amount deposited using a security gap that lasted 60 seconds. They would split the profits, gamble at the establishment to avoid suspicion, and bail to hit the next casino. The casinos even comped their rooms at points. 14 people were charged in 2012 after stealing over $1 million. Number 9, cigarette pack radio transmitters. We've heard of hidden cameras and microphones, but what about a remote control roulette ball? In the summer of 1973, Monique Laurent devised a cunning plan with her husband and brother, a croupier in Deauville. Her brother inserted a transmitter inside a roulette ball and a receiver in a pack of cigarettes. As her husband made bets on the table, she would press a button on the cigarette pack to activate the receiver, controlling the outcome of the ball. In 1 week, the trio managed to score 5 million francs, but you don't win that kind of money without raising some eyebrows. After some investigation, the team was caught and arrested. Number 8, Louis Colavecchio and the counterfeit coins.
Have you ever wondered why today's slot machines give out paper vouchers, as opposed to the tokens so often seen in old school movies? Well, it's in part thanks to the criminal activities of Louis the Coin Colavecchio, who took casinos in Atlantic City and Connecticut for a ride for years. He did this by creating replica tokens during his day job as a jeweler. Of course, the fact that Colavecchio was also in the mob made the reproduction of these coins all the more lucrative. That is, until he was caught in 1998 and sentenced to 7 years in prison. Number 7. Phil Ivey's edge sorting. Professional gamblers will often look at even the most minute of details in order to gain an edge. Phil Ivey was one such gambler, and he used a technique known as edge sorting to controversially win nearly $20 million. The idea is to convince the dealer to rotate high-value cards, for example by saying you're superstitious, then pick them out using asymmetrical irregularities on their long edges. Ivey took the Borgata Casino in New Jersey and London's Crockford's for millions, but wasn't allowed to keep any of it thanks to court decrees that determined Ivey's edge sorting to be cheating.
Some people believe that it was cheating. I know it wasn't, and that's why we're going to court.
Number 6. Richard Marcus's chip stacking. Richard Marcus spent time behind the table as a Vegas blackjack and baccarat dealer, but it was his activity as a player that earned him infamy as a casino scammer. His technique was simple, but effective. Marcus took advantage of the fact that the red $5 chips looked remarkably similar to the brown $500 chips. He would place 2 red chips sticking out slightly from a bottom brown one. If he lost the hand, Marcus would switch out the bottom chip for another red. But if he won, then he would be sure to let the dealer know that the bottom one was brown, and keep the profit.
You ever play roulette?
On occasion.
Well, let me give you a word of advice. Always bet on black.
Number 5. Restroom Roulette Scam. The next scam on our list also involves chips and the old switcheroo, and it reportedly hit Ohio area casinos big time in 2012.
Would you pick a number for me? I could use all the luck I can get.
Dozens of people were reportedly involved in a roulette crime ring, which involved people placing really low bets, and then stealing chips from dealers who were distracted by other members of the ring. The accomplices would then meet up in places such as public restrooms to pass along the stolen chips and bring them up to the cashiers. Although some of these scammers were caught, many remain at large today, while the ring itself reportedly scammed casinos in 18 different states nationwide. Number 4. Roselli Brothers. These gangsters from New Jersey hit several casinos across the United States throughout the 1990s, to the tune of $37 million. How did they do it? The Rosellis hired a computer hacker to open bank accounts under other people's names who had excellent credit. After seeding $50,000 of their own money into them, they would receive credit lines from casinos in their target city. Then, using this new influx of cash, they would lose all of this money in baccarat and craps card games on the casino floor, where another Roselli brother was winning it. They kept repeating this process until they were betting ridiculous amounts before disappearing forever, never to be caught. Number 3. Can contact lens ruse. We mentioned earlier that smartphone technology has helped cheaters scam casinos. But what about something as seemingly harmless as a contact lens? Italian scammer Stefano Ampolini ingeniously used infrared contact lenses to get one over on Les Princes Casino in Cannes, France in 2011. With the help of an insider, Ampolini and his accomplices were able to mark a deck of cards with invisible ink. Ampolini was able to walk away with almost $100,000, but was arrested 2 months later when he returned for a second helping. Number 2. Tommy Carmichael's slot scam. From the 1980s on, Tommy Carmichael created a myriad of cheat tools that enabled him to rig slot machines and haul in millions of dollars worldwide.
The devices that Tommy Carmichael could create would allow a very surreptitious entry of a machine and a very surreptitious breaching of the security features of a machine that were successful and worked in a large population of the makes and models of slot machines out at that time.
He shared his tools with a small group of other cheating professionals. One of his most famous, the monkey paw, was inserted in the payout chute to trip the micro switch, delivering about $1,000 an hour. Another, the light wand, shone a light up the payout chute to blind the sensor. By 1996, Carmichael had amassed a lot of winnings, but also developed quite the reputation. And while at the Circus Hotel Casino, he was arrested and later charged.
Oh, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was nothing but Disneyland, more or less. It was just a great big party most of the time.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The MIT Blackjack Team. Who says you can't beat the house? The MIT Blackjack Team used card counting to beat casinos worldwide in the 80s and early 90s.
Plus 14. Ring. Plus 16. Sweet. Use it in a sentence. Man, that sugar's sweet.
In its simplest form, card counting involves using a point system to track the ratio of low to high cards, by adding 1 point for low cards dealt and subtracting 1 point for high cards.
Jack. Plus 12. 9. Still plus 12. Blackjack.
It wasn't illegal, although it might get you banned.
Maybe you're just smarter than everybody else, huh?
I bet it's been that way your entire life. Except it just recently started paying dividends, am I right?
The technique was pioneered by mathematician Edward O. Thorpe in the 1960s. But the MIT Blackjack Team took it to new levels, hitting casino after casino and eventually expanding from a small group of 6 students to a team of 80. They later split into smaller groups who continued to take casinos by storm. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.